Last week's recording I had not shared. I'll share both of these together. Okay, Arya, till Arav joins, you can continue reading from here.
Yes, ma'am. From the Brahmaloka the Creator looked down and beheld with wonder the scene below. He thought, "Look at young Krishna. He is behaving just like any other boy of his age, though he is in fact the Supreme Lord. Is he beyond the power of illusion at this time, or is he subject to it too? Let me find out." So in an instant Lord Brahma hid from human eyes the calves grazing nearby. When some boys turned around to see if all was well with the calves, they could not see any in the vicinity. Perplexed, they told Krishna that the calves were not to be seen. Krishna knew everything. Still, with a worried look, he sprang up and went in search of the calves. Not finding them anywhere, he returned to the place where they all were having lunch. By this time, Brahma had hidden the children also from view. Again, naughty Kanhaiya pretended to be more perplexed than before and wandered here and there as if he were searching for the boys and the calves. Came evening. In order to satisfy the mothers of his friends as well as to convince Brahma of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead, he immediately expanded himself as the cowherd, boys, and calves. In the Vedas, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has already expanded himself into so many living entities by his energy. Therefore, it was not very difficult for him to expand himself again into so many boys and calves. He expanded himself to become.
Sorry, yeah.
Ma'am, where did I read?
He expanded himself
Yeah,
to become.
yeah, to become exactly like the boys, who were of all different features and facial and bodily constructions, and who were different in their clothing and ornaments and in the behavior and personal activities. In other words, although each boy being an individual soul had entirely different tastes, activities, and behavior, Krishna exactly expanded himself into all the different positions of the individual boys. He also became the calves who were also of different sizes, colors, activities, etc. This was possible because everything is an expansion of Krishna's energy. In the Vishnu Purana, it said, Parasya Brahmana Sakti. Whatever we actually see in the cosmic manifestation, be it matter or the activities of the living entities, is simply an expansion of the energies of the Lord, as heat and light are are the different expansions of fire.
Right. So this is how Krishna. So you know now you're coming to know slowly. You will come to know exactly why this picture is too big. So you can see it now. How Krishna has expanded himself. See it now. How he has expanded himself into all those cowherd boys and calves. Everything he only becomes. So Brahma was thinking, oh, this is Supreme Lord. I mean, and he's just acting like a normal child. Let me test him. And Brahma makes all of them disappear. First, he makes the calves disappear. And by the time Krishna will go looking for the calves, the children are worried. What happened to the calves? By the time they all, they are all worried. He says, wait, I'll go and search for them. He actually knew everything. There's nothing which is hidden from Krishna. He goes and he pretends like he's worried and he searches. By the time he comes back, Brahma makes the by his magic, by his Maya, because he's a creator, he also has some powers. He made the boys also disappear. Now, Krishna is just pretending, in the beginning for some time. In the meantime, Brahma takes a moment and he thinks, I'll come back in a moment. Okay, and Krishna, in the meantime, he doesn't want anybody to worry. So he quickly becomes the cows and the calves, everything he becomes himself. See how cute he is looking. Like it's a very beautiful painting as you can see, all the different forms of Krishna, expansions of Krishna, they all have become into those little boys around there. And he creates the whole picture as if nothing has happened at all. Okay. So, Ritika, you can continue reading. I don't know how much time we'll have for chapter 11 today with this beautiful story going on. Yes, Ritika, you can read again because I can't see.
Yes,
Yeah?
it was time to go back home. Krishna, using part of his infinite power, created afresh all the boys with their slings and blowhorns and canes and flutes and calves with their multicolored jingling bells. All were so very identical with the originals that none could make out that they were duplicates. As usual, the Gopa children, shouting and singing and dancing, led the calves home. Their mothers, who were anxiously waiting for them, did not for a moment suspect anything. From then onwards, the elders of Vrindavan unknowingly developed a special attachment to their children and calves. This was to be expected as they were all parts of the Lord. This devotion to the Lord raised the Gopas and Gopis to a higher spiritual plane. Automatically, they become enlightened.
Yeah, thank you, Ritika. So you can see how Krishna was himself became everybody when Brahma came and made them all disappear. Krishna himself became all the boys and all the calves by his magical power, he is the Lord. I mean, nothing is there which he can't do. And Vihan, you could read from here, 1 full year went by. Okay, Brahma made them all disappear and Krishna has become all of them. And you can see what is happening now. Okay, so I'll just make it a little bigger. Vihan, you can continue reading from 1 full year went by.
1 full year went by. No one had found out the truth about the children and the caves. Even Balarama knew the truth only the end.
On the day. Hello, Vihan. On the day. We lost connection, is it? Vihan, you're on mute. On the day after a year had passed.
On the day after a year had passed, Krishna, Rama had their friends were out in the meadows as usual. We have information of Lord Brahma's duration of life from the Bhagavad Gita
1,000 times.
1,000 times the duration of the four eggs stages are ages or 1,000
into 4,320,000 years make 4 ages. 1,000 times that altogether make Brahma's 12 hours. Okay, read from similarly.
Similarly, 1 moment of Brahma's time is equal to 1 year of our soul calculation.
Yeah, this is another, Vihan, this is another very special thing. Brahma, where he is, 1 second, like 1 moment in the earth, it is 1 year. So Brahma actually made all these calves and boys disappear. For him, it is only 1 second. But on the earth, 1 year was over. That is the reason why, the secret of how for 1 year, the original cows and the calves and the children were not there for 1 year. Okay, so Vihar, you can read one more paragraph.
By this time, Lord Brahma's 1 second was over. So he looked down at Vrindavan to his utter surprise. He saw He saw 2 sets of boys and 2 sets of calves. In fact, he could not see any difference between the originals and the copies in confusion. He blinked his eyes when he opened them, he saw infinite replicas of Vishnu, the virtual copas and calves had all taken the form of Vishnu. All were dressed in yellow silk were crowned and the jeweled had peacock feather in their hair were long
Multicolored.
monthly
Colored.
floral garlands and had conch discuss
Means Gada means
may at lotus in their hands. This has been described beautifully in 8 shlokas in the original
Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Each Vishnu looked alike
Look alike.
Was
reclining
on serpent Anatha and was being attended upon by Lakshmi Devi and Bhumi Devi seated on with copies
on his
On his
sides.
side.
on his sides. The creator also saw innumerable copies of himself, along with copies of the Devas, each sect paying respect to each Vishnu.
Thank you, Vihan. Thank you, Vihan. You tried well to read. Good. So, what is the story that you were reading? You know what happened? Brahma wanted to test. He said, "This boy is just like an ordinary boy sitting and eating and playing with children. How come he's God? Let me test him." And by his magic, by his Maya, he made all the calves disappear, children disappear. Now Krishna immediately takes the forms of all the calves and the children. And 1 year in Brahma's 1 second, 1 year is over. And when Brahma comes back and he makes all the children and calves come back, he's surprised. There are two sets, and he's surprised how come there are two sets, and he doesn't know which is the one which he brought, which are the original ones, and which are the ones which were copies which actually Krishna created. Then he just closed his eyes because he was so confused, and when he opened his eyes he saw that all the ones which Krishna had created turned into Vishnu, and each of those calves and each of those children became Vishnu with the Ananta, the whole Vishnu's form with the snake, Ananta Sarpa. He's lying down on that. The Bhumi Devi, Lakshmi Devi are sitting beside him, and all the gods and Brahma are praying. And he sees so many Vishnus, and in front of each Vishnu, the Brahma and the Devas are all praying. In front of each Vishnu, there is Lakshmi Devi and Bhumi Devi. This was a Maya. He was so surprised and he was so confused. Okay, so let me have Anushka. If you're there, you can continue reading from here. The whole place, second time when he opened his eyes, the whole place was Anushka. Okay, Anushka, I can't find it. Arya, you can read from the whole place, dear.
Yes, ma'am. The whole place was glowing in divine brilliance. Lord Brahma could not look at his intense brightness for long. He shut his eye again. When he opened his eye in this time, the illusory Gopa boys and calves had vanished from sight. He saw only the blue-bodied Krishna with his flute tucked at his hip in the folds of his garment and with a half-eaten ball of curd rice in his right hand, wandering here and there, tearfully calling out the names of his friends and calves. The Creator now realized the power of illusion created by Lord Vishnu. Ashamed and humbled, he immediately came down and fell down before the Lord just like a golden stick. The word used among the Vaishnavas for offering respect is dandavat. This word means falling down like a stick. One should offer respect to the superior Vaishnava by falling down straight from with his body just like a stick. So Brahma fell down before the Lord just like a stick to offer respect. And because the complexion of Brahma is golden, he appeared to be like a golden stick, lying down before Lord Krishna. All the four helmets on the heads of Brahma touched the lotus feet of Krishna. Brahma Brahma, being very joyful, began to shed tears, and he washed the lotus feet of Krishna with his tears. Repeatedly he fell and rose as he recalled the wonderful activities of the Lord. After repeating obeisances for a long time, Brahma stood up and smeared his hands over his eyes. Seeing the Lord before him, he trembling began to offer prayers with great respect, humility, and attention.
Yeah,
He
thank
said,
you. Thank you, Arya. Here you can see the picture. I'll make it slightly small so you can see the picture. The last line is he circumambulated. Means, in Malayalam we say pradakshanam. They go, he went around Krishna and then in deep respectful devotion he was singing his praise and praying. You can see how, after he does Dandvat, he's getting up here. You can see Krishna with a half-eaten ball of curd rice 1 year ago. That curd rice is still there, and he's just bearing a worried look and looking around actually. And Brahma realizes, that this how Krishna is, the Mahamaya he is, and you can see him in tears praying and asking for forgiveness. Right? Such again a very beautiful picture. Misha, can you read this last part of the story?
Yes, ma'am. He admitted that only Krishna was free from Maya. He even admitted that he was feeling envious, envy,
Envious. Envious means he was feeling jealous that the Gopas and Gopis are all having fun with Krishna. He is feeling jealous.
envious of the Gopas and Gopis and their children. Why even the plants and animals of Vrindavan, as they were blessed by constant contact with Krishna, away from after receiving the blessings of Krishna, the creator went back to
Brahma Loka.
Loka. After Brahma went, Krishna led the original calves to the original Gopa boys. The boys rejoined at the sight of their calves. Ignorant of the illusion they went through, they walked homewards with the calves as usual, making merry all the way. At home, they described to their mothers in detail how Krishna had killed a huge python and saved them. The wonder struck men and women of Bridge Vrindavan went to see the died, dead python. The next day, the children were and insisting that that Krishna killed the python the previous day, but what the people saw was a 1 year old skeleton. Nobody could explain why this was so. Then Krishna told them that 1 year had gone by, still neither the grown-ups nor the children could comprehend how it happened.
You can continue, Misha, the last paragraph.
There is so much in this universe that human mind cannot
fathom. Fathom means understand.
Fathom. When we are not able to understand something, we sometimes refuse to believe it. Even in today's world, some miraculous incidents occur. We describe them as supernatural. Something which is beyond the rules of nature. We cannot prove them, but we can not disprove them either. The illusion created by Krishna in Vrindavan was one such incident. Even the creator was not able to distinguish between the real and the virtual. Such was the divine power of the Lord Supreme. Let us all for a moment bow our heads before the supreme power, control each atom of the universe. Om
Om Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya.
Namaha. Solutions are
Salutations
to
to Bhagavan.
Bhagavan Vasudeva. Om Namo
Om Namo Narayana.
Narayana.
Salutations
Salutations to
to
Narayana.
Narayana. Thank you, Misha. I hope all of you enjoyed the story today. Actually, this is taking a lot of time now. Only 5 minutes are left for the class. Also, Ritika puts a thumbs up. She liked the story. It's a very beautiful miracle. When miracles happen, we don't want to believe. We say, how come it's possible? And we think it's just a myth, just a story. But there are miracles happening. Krishna is there, in every atom of this world, and miracles are happening. If we only open our eyes and see and believe, we'll be able to see the miracles happening. Okay? And if you're not able to see, there is a reason. Everything that happens and does not happen, there is a reason. Krishna has a reason for whatever is happening. Yes, Vihan has raised his hand.
But when Krishna sleeps in the night, that time, if somebody get something, so how he will help us?
So Krishna is, he sleeps, he eats, and everything like everyone. But it is very difficult for us to understand that he is ever present everywhere. So there is nothing.
But he don't sleeps.
Yeah, even he must be sleeping, but still he is awake in so many forms. See, he is sleeping, he is playing, but he's also in our hearts. He is living as Paramatma in our hearts, in all of our hearts. And you cannot understand Krishna because he is present everywhere. At the same time, he's present as one person. At the same time, he's got so much of light. People want to get merged into his light. And that is why even yogis, they sit for ages and ages. They try to understand this Krishna, this supreme personality of God. I can't understand you. None of us can understand him, Vihan. So we will only be amused. How come Krishna is sitting in there and he's sitting, in one place, but actually he has the whole world as his expansion only. And so we can't say that Krishna is, maybe as Krishna as a form, he'll be going to sleep, he'll be eating, he's sitting with his friends, but he is also the supreme personality of Godhead, present everywhere, knowing everything. And so there is, nothing which is hidden from Krishna because he is God. So we cannot understand how it is possible, but that is how it is, right? We have to just be in amazement and awe. Oh God, you are such a huge miracle. We can never understand you fully, right? Vihar. So that is how you keep wondering and in amazement. How come, Krishna? How do you do all this? So we are amazed at what God can do and what He is. We can never understand it fully. That's why when we read the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we become closer to Him and we're able to think of Him, or otherwise we forget only about the God. In our daily life, we're running about playing, eating, watching TV, doing games. We forget that God is controlling everything. It's only when we come and we do our duty to our soul. We stop doing our duty to our body for some time. Every day we chant, and we remember God, and we remember that we are also spirit, soul. We have a duty to our soul. Right now, you're all doing a duty to your soul. Children, I don't think I'll be able to do the Bhagavad Gita chapter 11 today. So next class, we'll start with the chapter 11. Okay, so that I can finish the chapter 11. It's a very beautiful chapter where Krishna shows, his whole universal form. And that's also another huge proof that Krishna is not just any ordinary boy or man, but actually he is God who controls the whole universe and is present in everybody and everywhere. Yes, Misha, your hand is raised and you're on mute, dear.
Ma'am, what is the meaning of jubilation?
Jubilation means happiness. Suppose there's a marriage in your family, there'll be jubilation. Everybody is wanting to dress up. There's nice food and there's party and everyone is meeting everyone. Similarly, when Aghasura was going to be killed, the gods were also doubtful. Like I told you, even Brahma doesn't know How can we understand Krishna when Brahma, the creator, could not understand Krishna? He tested Krishna, right? And he failed in the test, and then he forgives. He says, "Oh God, please forgive me. I thought you're just an ordinary boy. I didn't know that you're God," right? So what happens, Nisha? When when Krishna enters the mouth of the huge python Aghasura, even the gods are worried. Oh my God, what's going to happen? They're not able to have full faith that Krishna is supreme personality. Nothing will happen. But they were scared. And when they at last Aghasura was dead, the gods were in jubilation. They were celebrating. Yay! Krishna has killed Aghasura, the ferocious. So they're having like a party. They're singing, dancing with all the music. And when Brahma comes, he wants to see what's happening. And then he tests Krishna. Okay, you
Ma'am,
understand?
then this
Denizen.
denizen, yes, ma'am.
Denizens means the people of a country. Like we are all denizens of India. The denizens of heaven are all the gods. The gods and denizens of heaven means the people who stay in heaven.
Ma'am, the third one is also gigantic. Only that.
Yeah,
one.
gigantic means huge in form, enormous, huge, gigantic.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, very nice, Nisha. I'm so happy to hear you asking questions and trying to understand better. So today it's already almost 1 minute to 11. Anybody else wants to ask something? Next class we'll start with chapter 11. Okay, please join next Sunday. Anybody want to
Yes,
ask
ma'am.
something? Okay, shall I end the
No,
class
ma'am.
for today? Ritika,
Ma'am, tomorrow is Teacher's Day. Happy
today is
Teacher's Day.
Happy Teachers. Thank you, Misha. Thank you so much for
Happy Teacher's Day,
remembering
ma'am.
me. Yeah,
Happy
thank
Teachers Day,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, Arya. Thank you.
Happy
I have,
Teacher's Day in advance,
thank you.
ma'am.
I have actually taught Ritika
Ma'am,
and Nisha.
Ma'am, I want to ask you one question.
Yes, Vihan.
It's not about this subject.
Mhm.
Okay, there were Apun and Tapun. It's like Hindi. There were Apun and Tapun. They would work in the. Means they will have. They will work in the Nali state. So who will do the work?
They work in the Anari.
Ma'am, that there were two brothers, and then
No, she's not telling the answer, Vihan. Apun and Tapun, two brothers are there. They were working in the.
brothers are there. They are working, and Tapun got died. So
Tapun
what
died.
they?
So what's the question, Vihan? I didn't understand the question. Tapun died. That's a riddle. What happens, Vihan? I didn't understand and I give up. You can tell me the answer. You have to unmute. You're on mute.
Apun and Tapun were there. Apun and Tapun worked in the Nali, and Tapun died. Who will work then?
If Tapun dies, Apun will work.
So you will work there in the Nali.
In the garbage.
In the garbage. Apun means me. In
Oh, Apun means me.
Hindi. Yeah.
All right.
I made it in lockdown.
Oh,
I just-
okay. Nice. Okay, children. So let's end the meeting today. Have a wonderful week. See you next Sunday.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Hare Krishna. Bye.
Take care.